In this video, I will be talking more about Power Pivot. In the earlier videos, I spoke to you about the advantage of working with Power Pivot in Excel, that you can work with millions of records, you can work with huge amount of data, you can build relationships. In this video, we'll take a simple example. Before we get started, I would like to clear that this video is not intended to teach you Power Pivot. You can definitely look for multiple resources online. Here, I just want to give you a quick snippet. So this video, please do not look at this video with an intention of learning Power Pivot. It is nowhere close to that. I just want to show you and I want to convince you that you should go ahead. If you're an Excel user, you should invest time and you should learn Power Pivot. That is the sole reason of me making this video. So let me get started. So I am right now in Excel. I have the Power Pivot tab. I simply go into Manage. Under Manage, I have different data models. I have the date, the product, I have the factory seller sales category and subcategory. Now, before you get started in Power Pivot, you need to build relationships. So let me give you a quick scenario. I have a products table and I have a sales table. Now the product information is in the products table. So you can see I have millions of products. Whereas sales, only if a particular product has been sold, only then you will have an entry in the sales table. Sounds very similar to VLOOKUP. Yes, I agree, but there is no VLOOKUP over here. So I need to build a relationship telling Excel that there is a products table, there is a factory seller sales table, and there's going to be a relationship between both of them. Now, for example, what I want to do is I want to know, okay, which product has been sold how many times. Now the product information is in the products table and the sales information is in the sales table. For example, let me go into a pivot table. So I want to make a pivot table. I go and say new sheet. Now over here, you see I have the multiple data models. So I have my product. From the product table, I will pick up the product color. So let's say I have product color. So these are all the different product colors. And if a particular product has been sold, the subsequent entry will be made in the factory seller sales table. So I come up over here and I pick up a column called sales amount. So I pick up sales amount. Now what do you see? Every color has the same sales amount. This is because Excel doesn't understand which particular product has been sold. So if you see everywhere, you're getting the same number, that is 845596.98. Okay, so now what I need to do? So the next step, I go back into Manage. Under the Home tab, I go into the diagram view. Now this is where you basically build up your relationships, where you will tell Excel that this is your data and what relationships do these two tables share. So there's a products table. Okay, I will simply just increase, and there is a factory seller sales table. And the common part between both of them is the product key. Similar to your VLOOKUP, when you do a VLOOKUP, you need a particular column which is going to be common between those two data models. So I simply pick it up, click over here, I simply drag it and I drop it to my factory seller sales. The relationship is being built. You can see the number 1 appearing next to product, and you can see an asterisk mark. The one side signifies the one and the asterisk is the many. So, and the relationship flows from the one side to the many side. So what's happening over here is, for every one product, there are multiple entries in the factory seller sales. So in the factory seller sales, the product key will be repeated. Now what I have done is I have created a relationship between the products table and the factory seller sales table. Now, when I go back into Excel, it's loading. Now you see properly you are getting which particular color and the total sales amount by that particular color. Now just visualize. I did this with just one click. If you have multiple data models, how many VLOOKUPs you had to do? You had to go and get all the data all together. Whereas just by one click, I just defined that this is the one side, this is the many side. And obviously I understand how this data modeling works. And within that, ultimately, what's the goal? The ultimate goal is that your pivot table has to be created. And there you go. Coming back to Manage. Now, I have simply moved my resellers table on the left hand side. I have the products table. I have a product category and I have a product subcategory and I have product category. So I have built this data model. The relationship between a products table and a reseller sales table is 1:many. That means for every one product, there are multiple records in the reseller sales table. There is a relationship between the product table and the subcategory table. The relationship is 1:many. For every one product subcategory, there are many records in the product table. The same way there is a relationship between a product category table and a product subcategory. The moment I take my mouse over that particular line, it will exactly show me which particular 2 columns have I connected. So I have linked these two tables with the product category key. So under the product category table, you have the product category column. Under the product subcategory, you have the product category column. So this is my entire data model. Now, if I ask you a question that what is the total sales broken down by the product category? Is my product category directly talking to my sales table? The answer is no. But it is talking indirectly. Why? Because the product category talks to the product subcategory. The product subcategory is connected to the product table, and the product table is finally connected to the fact reseller sales table. Now we'll be creating a pivot table where we'll be breaking down the pivot table by product category, subcategory, and the sales amount. So I simply click on pivot table. When I click on pivot table, it gives me an option. Where do I want to make it? I'll say existing worksheet, and I'll click over here. I'll go OK. I'll again click OK. Now, so I have the product category. So I come over here, I take the English product category name. So under product category, these are the different product categories I have. So I want the sales amount. So I'll simply write the word sales. So when I write the word sales, and there you go. So sales amount, there you go, sales amount. I pick it up from here, push it under values. There you go. This is the power of Power Pivot. Without me creating multiple VLOOKUPs, without moving the data, just imagine you would have to move the data from the product category to the product subcategory, from the product subcategory to the products table, from the products table back to the sales table. So instead of you doing so many VLOOKUPs, in the matter of seconds, you simply created your data model and there you are ready. So you have bikes, you have clothing, and over and above, let's say this is product category. Let's say if I want subcategory now, so I want to break it down by subcategory. So I have English product subcategory name. I simply drag and drop it. There you go. So under bikes, these are my subcategories. Under clothing, these are my subcategories. Now comes the finale. I have said it previously. I'm again telling you how good you are going to be in Power Pivot and Power BI is directly functional to how good you're going to be with DAX. So the next example, a quick case study I'll give you is about DAX. DAX stands for Data Analysis Expression. Once again, if you are an Excel user, you should invest in DAX.